Peter sat by the fire of the men who arrested Jesus. He had followed at a distance, yet distance did not stop him from walking through the gate and sitting down among the very men who had seized Jesus. No one forced him through that entrance. He sat down in the one courtyard in Jerusalem where his face was the most dangerous thing he owned. No wall or shadow separated one man from another inside that circle of light. A fire had been kindled in the middle of the open ground of the high priest's courtyard, and the men who had seized Jesus sat down together around it. Peter sat down among them, in the same ring of light, on the same ground. The flame that let the men warm themselves also lit Peter's face for anyone seated across from him. A servant girl saw him seated in that firelight. She looked closely at him, studying his face across the circle before she spoke a single word. He had followed Jesus at a distance, but the fire he sat down beside put his face in full light for every stranger present. Both facts stood recorded of the same man, in the same night, inside the same courtyard, in the same firelight that let the servant girl study his features long enough to speak. The text does not record Peter turning his face from the fire or moving to the shadowed edge of the courtyard once he sat down. It records only that he stayed in the light, in plain view of the same servant girl, without recorded movement toward cover of any kind. "This man was with him," the servant girl said, looking straight at Peter in front of everyone. Peter denied it on the spot. "Woman, I don't know him," he said. "You also are one of them," someone else in the courtyard said, seeing him a little later. Peter answered, "Man, I am not." About an hour passed, and the accusation returned a third time from another man, but it no longer rested on sight. "Certainly this fellow was with him," the man insisted, "for he is a Galilean." The fire no longer mattered. Darkness would not have hidden him either, because the thing exposing Peter now was his own voice, marking him the moment he opened his mouth. "Man, I don't know what you're talking about," Peter said, the third denial spoken in the same courtyard where he had sat down at the start of the night. Just as the words left him, before anyone else in the crowd could answer, a rooster crowed. The Lord turned and looked straight at Peter, across the same fire, past the same faces that had accused him, from wherever he stood among his own captors. The Lord's look reached Peter before a single word passed between them. Peter remembered the word the Lord had spoken to him. Before the rooster crowed that day, he would disown him 3 times. The text records no reply from Peter, spoken back across the courtyard. No comfort is recorded for Peter once he reached the gate, no companion following him out, no words spoken to explain the weeping to anyone who saw it. He went outside and wept bitterly. The text does not record him answering the Lord's look, defending himself to the men still gathered at the fire, or staying inside that courtyard one moment longer than it took to reach the gate. 3 times over, the denial had been spoken. 3 times he had said the words with his own mouth, to a servant girl, to a stranger, to a man who named his home region by the sound of his voice. The weeping is the only recorded response the text gives after the 3rd denial was finished. He had followed at a distance when the night began. He ended it seen by everyone, denying him anyway, 3 times over, before a single rooster finished its first crowing. The fire he chose for warmth left him no shadow to deny from, and the look that found his face across it was the last recorded exchange between them that night.